Over 5,000 Chinese spies are active in Taiwan. Recently, an aide to the Secretary General of Taiwan's National Security Council was confirmed as a Chinese spy. The number of Chinese spies in Taiwan remains very high. Today, let's examine this issue. On January 2nd, a former aide to Secretary General Wu Jiaoxi of Taiwan's National Security Council was accused of spying for China. Taiwan's Kuomintang-led parliament passed a resolution for Secretary General Wu Jiaoxi to resign, with 54 votes for and 48 against. The Taiwan National Security Council oversees Taiwan's security, including national defense, foreign affairs, and cross-strait relations. In July 2025, aides to Secretary General Wu Jiaoxi of the National Security Council were indicted for leaking diplomatic secrets to China and faced severe sentences. The confirmation that national security aides were spies caused a major uproar in Taiwan. The Taiwan National Security Council expressed regret over the parliament's decision, urging all parties to prioritize national interest, review the budget and defense regulations, and end internal conflicts. The Taiwan National Security Council views the parliament's resignation demand as Chinese political manipulation, highlighting sharp differences between the two sides. Opposition parties like the Kuomintang and Taiwan People's Party allege spies in the Taiwan National Security Council and say they're being removed, while the council calls this political manipulation. Taiwan appears to be deeply divided. A resolution condemning Taiwan's premier, Tai, was also passed. The Democratic Progressive Party criticized the opposition for persisting in political strife in the new year, condemning Premier Tai and focusing on impeaching President Lai Ching-te. Chinese spies appear very active in Taiwan, with espionage cases reportedly quadrupling in the past 3 years. Chinese espionage indictments rose from 16 in 2021 and 2022 to 48 in 2023 and 64 in 2024. They are infiltrating Taiwan through different methods, using locals to build networks, and seem to be gathering sensitive government information. What's particularly noteworthy is that Taiwanese people who have been recruited by China are assigned missions such as carrying out sabotage operations or raising the Chinese flag when China invades. They were also instructed to form sniper teams to kill government officials. The National Security Bureau, Taiwan's intelligence agency, has stated that China is actively conducting intelligence infiltration activities against Taiwan. They also revealed that China is continuously trying to establish cooperative organizations locally in Taiwan while carrying out these infiltration activities. In the United States or United Kingdom, there's about 1 Chinese espionage case annually, but with China's rise in information warfare, Taiwan reportedly faces a major Chinese spy case nearly every month. Here are some examples. In August 2025, a retired Taiwanese military non-commissioned officer received a 4.5-year sentence for espionage, reportedly giving China details on house arrest sentencing. In December 2023, a top army officer who vowed to surrender if war broke out after receiving Chinese funds was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison. Among those arrested as Chinese spies, 28 are active duty and 15 are retired soldiers, revealing many spies in Taiwan's military. Statistics show 85% of Taiwan's national security cases involved retired military and police officers. China also infiltrates government agencies, including the military and civic and religious groups, leaking secrets and interfering in elections. They were even given orders to actively cooperate in the event of a military invasion of Taiwan. And the biggest problem is that Chinese spies are infiltrating both the ruling and opposition parties. In June 2025, former Democratic Progressive Party New Taipei City Councilor Huang Qi-ryongko Jiaguan was arrested for espionage after running a spy network for 22 years. 5 Democratic Progressive Party members have been investigated as suspected Chinese spies. Even within the Kuomintang, Wang Xinyi, an aide to a Taipei city councilor, was investigated for espionage. Spies appear regardless of party affiliation. Surprisingly, it's claimed over 5,000 Chinese spies are hiding in Taiwan. Liu Deliang, head of Taiwan's Military Intelligence Bureau, estimated there are currently about 5,000 Chinese spies there. He added this estimate is outdated, so the number is probably higher now. Liu Deliang, head of the Military Intelligence Bureau, said these spies likely aim to infiltrate government agencies, political parties, and companies. Liu Deliang, head of the Military Intelligence Bureau, said government meeting information is leaked to China almost instantly, and likely many Chinese spies are hiding in Taiwan. Because these spies are really shaking up society, President Lai Ching-te said at a high-level National Security Council meeting that Chinese forces are infiltrating the military in various sectors of society, destabilizing national security. He announced 17 response strategies and plans to revise the law. For instance, anyone surrendering to the enemy in war would face prison, and the law would be changed to ensure this. President Lai Ching-te also expressed in a rather strong tone that China has already become a hostile force. He He stressed the need to boost democratic resilience and national security, and to take preventive steps to safeguard our cherished freedoms and way of life. But with President Lai Ching-te facing impeachment, it's unclear if these efforts will happen. Some analysts are even suggesting that if China were to actually invade Taiwan in an extreme scenario, the outcome might already be decided before a full-scale war even begins. At the core of this issue is China's deep infiltration within Taiwan. Isn't that the case? It's being assessed not as a matter of simple intelligence gathering, but as a structural problem that has taken root over a long period within the military, administrative organizations, the media, academia, and even throughout civil society. If these networks are activated in an emergency, they could disrupt command, spread false information, create chaos, and paralyze key facilities simultaneously. If that happens, some worry Taiwan could collapse internally before it can fight. Taiwanese authorities have found several cases where active duty officers gave up operational plans or retired personnel ran public opinion campaigns for China. With these cases repeatedly publicized, anxiety is rising in Taiwan over their ability to unite and fight together. On top of that, there are also concerns that Taiwan's political situation is too unstable to assume a wartime system. The ruling and opposition parties keep clashing over China-related issues, using national security as a tool for political conflict. The gap between those who take a hardline stance against China and those who advocate a more conciliatory approach for economic reasons is not easily narrowing. The biggest problem pointed out is that in this atmosphere, the government is failing to send a signal to the people that the nation can unite and endure until the end. War is not fought with weapons alone, but with the unity and trust of the entire society. That is why there are assessments that Taiwan is currently showing weakness in this area. Some experts say China may use internal division and psychological tactics against Taiwan, aiming to win with minimal military force instead of a full-scale operation. If internal chaos peaks and trust in the government and military collapses, causing widespread doubt, the battle is mostly won before it starts. As these analyses grow, the international community increasingly questions whether Taiwan can hold out until the end. This is why some say that the greatest threat facing Taiwan may not be the Chinese military across the strait itself, but rather the cracks and divisions that have already penetrated deep within. At this point, what many people are curious about is this: why is China so obsessed with espionage against Taiwan? From China's perspective, invading Taiwan is by no means a light option. Even from a purely military standpoint, an amphibious operation crossing the Taiwan Strait is considered one of the most difficult military operations in the world. If you also consider the possibility of intervention by the United States and Japan, the risks increase exponentially. The same goes for the political aspect. If China invades Taiwan by force, it should expect sanctions, diplomatic isolation, economic shocks, and social unrest. China's preferred method is to destabilize opponents and break their will to fight before taking direct action. That's why China's espionage operations are not just a supplementary measure, but are considered a core strategy that is almost equivalent to war itself. The concept that the Chinese military has emphasized for a long time is hybrid warfare. This hybrid warfare is defined as a form of war that doesn't start after a conflict breaks out, but is continuously carried out even during peacetime. They manipulate public opinion to influence perceptions and create division within the opposing society. Through psychological warfare, they spread fear and distrust to weaken the will to resist. If you look closely at the Chinese espionage cases currently happening in Taiwan, you can see that they are exactly in line with this hybrid strategy. Their infiltration of politics, media, civic groups, religious organizations, and businesses to sway society is a prime example of public opinion and psychological warfare going beyond traditional military espionage. China's goal is to undermine trust in Taiwanese society. When it's unclear who's linked to China or which organizations are compromised, society becomes more suspicious. In this kind of atmosphere, it's hard to trust government announcements, military commands, or media reports. Even though war hasn't broken out, it feels as if the war has already begun. For China, if Taiwanese society becomes divided on its own without any missiles fired, that's already a strategic win. China has avoided short-term gains, opting to quietly build networks over time. Now, there are reports these efforts are showing results across Taiwan. Another important point is that China is trying to create an environment where it can achieve its goals without launching an all-out war. If political conflict in Taiwan intensifies and trust in the military and intelligence breaks down, China may not need a major amphibious assault. China could likely manage the situation and plan its actions using limited military force, internal allies, and information warfare. Here, spies aren't forces mobilized at war's start, but assets already in position and waiting. Emerging spy cases in Taiwan are now viewed less as accidents or management failures and more as part of China's long-term war strategy. If we see this only as a security or information leak issue, we may overlook China's progress. What are your thoughts on Taiwan's current situation? Please leave your thoughts in the comments. That's the end of the video. Thank you.